Scams. You have heard of phishing. What about smishing or vishing? There is always someone out there preying on our responsive nature, our kindness, our fears, and sometimes just on our laziness. Every year, almost 500,000 incidents of financial abuse targeting older adults are reported in the US. It's estimated to cause $4.8 billion in losses, and it may be even higher as many incidents go unreported. Worldwide, the Global Anti-Scam Alliance states that 293 million scams were reported, with over $55.3 billion lost in 2021 alone. With a little caution, it's possible, in most cases, to prevent falling victim to a scam before it starts.
Have you ever received a text from a random number that says, "Hi, I need to drop off a dress," or "I have your phone number," etc.? Whatever it may be, most consumers respond thinking they're helping someone when in fact it's a scam to engage and cheat you. Scams are everywhere and targeting everyone.
Phishing is a form of scam where people, like you and me, are tricked into either revealing personal sensitive information or installing some software, which they may not realize can harm their computers or steal information from them. The term was derived from the word fishing, throw a line and catch a fish. Here, an attacker throws a message, often in an email, that is sent to a very large number of people to see who is going to bite or fall victim to the attack. Phishing attacks often use impersonation, or the idea that the message appears to come from legitimate individuals, organizations, or other entities, like banks, social media platforms, online retailers, government agencies, or your colleagues. This is to gain the potential victim's trust. These attacks have been growing worldwide constantly since the 1990s, and during the pandemic, they became a very major issue, one of the largest forms of online scams. Phishing affects individuals, but also businesses. This is the approach often used by attackers to access employee passwords, which are then used to steal your data that is stored with the business. The big breaches like the $100 million Google and Facebook phishing scam, Equifax, Target, Microsoft, and more. While email has been a favorite for sending phishing attacks, they are also conducted via fake links on websites, fake calendar invites, or even social media apps. Two types of phishing that affect a lot of people today are vishing and smishing.
Voice phishing, or vishing, is the use of telephony to conduct phishing attacks. My dad, then 83, was a victim of such an attack when a call came in from his granddaughter, noting she had been arrested and needed $5,000 to get out of jail, but he couldn't tell anyone. They prey on senior citizens, and now with voice-changing technologies, they can more easily pretend to be someone you know, so the risks are so much greater.
Smishing, or SMS phishing, is the use of text messaging to conduct phishing attacks. There are two types of such texts. One is asking for sensitive information, and the second is tricking the victim to click on a link that will install malicious software on your device. A good example of the first one is the UPS scam. When you receive a text that says your package cannot be delivered so that more information is needed, you click on the link, and then it takes you to a site that looks like the real UPS site and asks for personal details. I received one of those as I was waiting for an important package. But one way to see if this is legitimate is to take the tracking code they pretend is yours and enter it directly into the ups.com/track website. If it does not recognize the tracking, it's not yours.
Of course, it's easy to see the reason for many scams that ask for money to be sent. But what do attackers get from collecting your personal information to installing software on, say, your smartphone? Everything. With software, they can literally take control of your phone and even lock you out. They can access everything that there is on the phone or other devices. Just think about how much information that is. And just think about not being able to access your information, pictures, contacts, and all that you have stored there. With your personal information collected via fake sites that you are pointed to, they can steal your identity, pretend to be you, open accounts, loans, credit cards, and use to steal from your loved ones.
There are some technologies in place to help prevent some of the phishing attacks. For example, many people are working on developing software that can prevent most scams from even reaching you. But attackers are also developing their own ways to navigate around those controls. So the number one solution to prevent scammers from being successful is to provide everyone with education about scams.
Let's start by looking at common signs that what you received is a scam. Attackers create a sense of urgency or fear to prompt quick action from the victim. They might claim that an account has been compromised, a payment is overdue, or legal action will be taken if immediate action isn't taken. Most messages that ask you for money now or something happens are likely scams. Phishing emails often use generic greetings like "Dear customer" or "Dear user," or "Dearest" instead of addressing you by your name. This should be a red flag for you, since legitimate organizations usually know who you are and personalize their messages to you. Many phishing attempts still contain spelling or grammar errors. For example, they will misspell a word or have poor grammar or even punctuation that does not make sense. One obvious way to identify a scam is when you receive an email or text or even phone call from a company you have no account with. And no, the Internal Revenue Service will not call you about any issues. They will send you a letter.
The links that are used for tricking you into revealing information or installing software are a good indicator of a scam. Unfortunately, it is not always easy to see whether a link is an incorrect one. Hackers will include valid-looking link information, such as UPS.com, but you have to look at the whole link, everything to just before the first slash. On a computer, you can see where the link is going without clicking. Just point the mouse over the link, but do not actually click, and you will see on the bar at the bottom of the browser where the link will take you. Inspect it to make sure it is going where it should. Again, by looking at the destination just before the first slash. Unfortunately, it is particularly difficult to see this on a phone where you cannot use a mouse to point on the link. Here are some options. If the link is a shortened link, type it on a phone browser in the checkshorturl.com site. Another option is to look for foreign-looking letters. For example, when the letter M is spelled using RN, or when an I has a strange accent on it. If you have access to a computer, use the computer to check that email. An example of such a scam happened to my mother very recently. She received 2 emails a few hours apart from her internet service provider, stating that her service was not set properly as a business service, and that she needed to transition to a personal service before a date that was only a few days later, or she would lose all of her emails. She needed to act quickly. She was really worried, but she did the right thing and was very doubtful, so she called me. We opened her email on the service provider's webmail service. It looked real for sure. I checked the link, and it was going to a fraudulent website.
Finally, while all of the tips we gave you point to what you can do to prevent falling victim to a scam, it really is always important to continue using strong security, such as the use of 2 factors to log into your accounts. This way, even if an attacker obtains your information and password to access your account, the fact that the site will ask you for a security code sent to you via phone mail, text, or email will provide that extra security to prevent them from accessing your account. We cannot talk about scams without talking about the growing role of artificial intelligence, or AI, in creating those scams. Since most people fall victim to scams because they trust the sender of the message, there's a growing concern that AI can make those messages even more personalized, making them really look like they come from you. The AI systems do this by collecting huge amounts of information from you, generating texts that are written the way you write or images that you expect. Keep being suspicious. Think of whether you really expect such a message. Be an informed online user.
Scams are not going to stop, but we at Voices of Privacy will continue to be on the lookout for you to give you information that might help you protect yourself.